Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week, Josh and I are going to talk about our top 3 comic books. So, if you're interested, grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy.
This is good.
It is good.
I want to try Crystal Skull vodka. They pour it over diamonds. Did you know that? I just want to taste it to be like, oh, that's actually a smooth.
So wait, okay. Let's assume they don't pour it over diamonds. What else? What would they normally pour it over?
Nothing. Like it's just an extra step.
Adding contaminants to it.
Well, no, because like Dan Aykroyd, he was saying we have to change the diamonds every couple of weeks because it gets a residue on them and they turn yellow or whatever. So it is doing something. Anyway, whatever. It's not my business, so I don't care. I just want to. I want to get a bottle of their vodka.
I mean, I'll drink it. Really, I didn't realize Dan Aykroyd on that.
He does, and he makes it from peaches and cream corn, and he gets the cream corn from my hometown.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
oh, it's like a piece of you in there.
A little bit, not really, but it kind of makes up for the terrible ethanol plant smell in our hometown.
Is it?
No.
Okay. So, Josh.
Yeah.
How are you?
That's good. I'm like exhausted, but for reasons I don't really want to get into.
That's fair.
Yep. I'm exhausted, and I did something on the weekend, didn't I?
Did you have family over? You go somewhere?
I don't remember.
Oh man,
my weeks are so long, Victor. Like this past weekend was like feels like 2 months ago. What did I do? I went to a dedication. That's what it was.
Wow.
Yep. That's all I did. I went and saw some family and fun stuff.
I can see
Not
the joy.
really. I went to their house and I offered to barbecue so I wouldn't have to socialize. So I did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's a pretty good tactic, actually.
Yeah.
I will always avoid that person.
Yeah, because I like to barbecue. So, and I like that more than making small talk with people who I don't have a lot to say to.
Mm.
It's just one of those things where like when you're just, I don't know, for me, I find it exhausting to talk to people because I'm introverted. And so like I can make conversation and I can be outgoing and charming, but by the end of the night, I'm like exhausted. And so sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to be exhausted after this. So I'm just going to avoid talking. I'll find a way to remove myself from the conversation.
People start congregating near the barbecue and start talking to you. What do you do then? You just drop the tongs and spatula and just walk away.
No, what you do is you start pouring water on the coals so it gets really smoky. Then they're like, "Oh, it's really smoky over here." I'm like,
"Yeah, get away."
Barbecue, right? It's not smoky over there, but way by the fence.
No, beyond the fence. Start fanning the smoke.
Yeah. That's my life. Gun fingers. Victor, how is your life?
I don't know what I did on the weekend.
Right? Because it was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, I think. Shit. Yeah, I stand by all the crap that I just gave you for your memory on the weekend, but whatever. Second week of working out like Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, yeah.
Do his app. I'm perpetually sore. I can't remember the last time I wasn't sore. I miss my trainer.
Yeah.
Because then I actually had like a time to stop. Whereas now it's like, well, I can keep going. Because they just, if you follow the exercise, you just keep going. They'll let you go on forever. He's like, oh, but there's a bonus workout here. Do you want to do this one? Yeah, I guess.
Wow, you and I have completely different ideologies when it comes to working out.
I think it's actually gotten through past that point where like I don't want to work, or like I actually feel good when I work out. So I don't mind working out.
What's that like?
Pretty nice, actually. Feels motivated after you do something like some difficult circuit.
So it's like when you finish a large pie all by yourself.
Actually, yeah. But instead of like being full and you want to die, it's like, wow, that was delicious. Let's do another one.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, this is completely new to me. I can't remember a time where I was actually comfortable after I worked out, like happy with the progress I made.
Oh, see, that's your problem. You see, in order to motivate yourself, you have to be unhappy with yourself after the workout. So the next day you're like, oh, look at you.
You fat piece of crap.
So ugly. You're going to do double today.
Except I would never do that. That's never the talk I have in the front of the mirror.
What is the talk you have in front of the mirror?
Ugh, look at you.
That is that then. See, I don't have the talk in front of the mirror because I just get lost in my own eyes. They're just like two deep pools of sadness.
All right, let's get on to the news. Yeah, would you?
Victor, there's a Madam Web movie in the works over at Sony.
What? What? I mean, oh, you mentioned this last week and I was so upset and I completely forgot about it and now you brought it back.
Yep.
Well, good. I guess it makes sense because now they have that Venom movie, the Morbius movie. Wouldn't they have like an Aunt May movie too?
I think that was rumored back during the Sony hack, but I think enough people were like, that's dumb. No one wants to see that.
Yeah. The people were like, I bet they were at Sony headquarters. They're like, oh crap. People don't want to see the Aunt May movie. How about Madam Web movie?
Who's our other geriatric female character that we could use for our summer blockbuster movie?
Oh man.
It's just
the only thing they're missing now is a Jackal movie so they can do clones.
I don't think they're doing that. I think they're building towards Spider-Verse or live action one. I feel like it's the producer's thought process. They don't know anything about the characters.
Yeah, no
so
shit.
they grab some comic book guy and they say, okay, if we were going to do our own Spider-Verse and it's going to be like the Avengers, we'll do like 4 films and then like the 5th one will be the crossover one.
Okay, but like,
so what characters would you need? What just name the character? Well, I don't know. You need Spider-Man. Right. Okay. Anyone else? Well, I mean, Madam Web was kind of important to the Spider-Verse. Okay, we'll do a Madam Web movie. No, wait, no. Shh. Name another character. I guess Aunt May. Secret Agent Aunt May. We'll do that.
Yeah, you want to do your own Avengers for the Spider-Verse? Like, I don't see them doing an Iron Man movie followed by a Happy Hogan movie. You know, where's my Miles Morales movie? I mean, I guess they have Spider-Man back now, so I guess start by screwing it up with that Madam Web movie. Hey, forget Tony Stark. Forget everything about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How about this old lady who sits in the chair for a while? Or whoa, okay, if that's not catching you, how about this vampire that you've probably never heard of, general audience?
And guess what? Everyone's favorite actor, Jared Leto, is playing. So yeah, Madam Web, like, to me, it's like them saying, hey, let's do an Ancient One movie, where it's like, yeah, the Ancient One's an interesting character. I'd like to know more about her. I don't want to watch 2 hours of her as the main character. Like,
I feel like she'd be more interesting as, like, you know very little about her, but she has all this fantastic power.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I don't really know anything about Madam Web other than she opens up the multiverse.
Because no one gives a shit, Josh.
Because that's all she did, right?
Well, I'm sure as someone who has lived as long as she has, she's probably got some interesting stories for someone who gives a crap.
I'm sorry. I forgot I was on a podcast. I rolled my eyes when he said that.
Fuck you, Sony.
Speaking of Sony, Victor, so this happened almost immediately after we finished recording last week. They announced they fixed it. The deal with so Spider-Man is back in the MCU.
Oh,
and they fixed it. There's a new deal. So Spider-Man 3 is being made. It's coming out July 2021.
Okay.
It's part of Phase 4. Tom Holland is returning as Spider-Man.
Makes sense.
Kevin Feige and his team will be producing it and have complete creative control.
So what was the final deal?
So there's that movie and then an undisclosed team up movie.
Oh.
So it's just to be clear, like team up as in like what Civil War was for Spider-Man or Avengers was. Like he just is in someone else's movie.
Gotcha.
Another appearance in a non-Spider-Man movie. So anyway, Spider-Man 3 will be an MCU movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's quotes from Kevin Feige who said something along the lines of, Spider-Man is the only one who has the superpower to jump universes. So people are kind of reading between the lines and thinking that Tom Holland is also going to show up in some of Sony's Spider-Man movies, like that Madam Web movie we're so excited to see.
God damn it.
So just before we go any further, I just wanted to say a big fat I told you so. So suck on that, Victor.
Well,
how does being wrong feel?
Yeah. You know what? Fine. You're right. But they're making a fucking Madam Web movie.
But the good news is we still get to have our Spider-Man, and everyone kind of contends that this is just like the placeholder deal. Like they'll do these two movies and then they'll renegotiate again. But the good news is, I feel anyway, is that whatever they do with Spider-Man 3 and his other appearance, they can do it in a way where it's not going to be a giant cliffhanger and you're going to be like, that was it? And we never get to know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can do it in a way where it's just like, well, I'm going to go to college now or whatever. And
Yeah.
you just don't see him again.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm totally fine with that. I mean, like to see him go to college, but that's better than, hey, everyone, Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but we're not going to deal with it because of rights issues.
Kind of lame.
But anyway, so there's that. I also read this week that Tom Holland was integral in getting the deal renewed. Like it really was. I'll admit you were right for a little bit, for a little sliver of time, that the deal was dead. And Tom Holland was like, you guys don't realize how many people you're pissing off by doing this. You guys need to realize that no one is winning by you splitting up. I'm paraphrasing. No one knows what he said. I'd like to imagine it's that. And he said it in an American accent as well. Yeah. And then, so he went straight up to the top, talked to Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney.
Yeah.
And Tom Rothman, the CEO of Sony, and got them talking. He even leveraged, he's in that Uncharted movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
He apparently leveraged that as part of it. Like maybe, I think he's committed to playing Spider-Man, but I imagine what that means is he was just like, that movie I'm starring in, I'm not going to star in it if you don't do this.
That'd be a weird way to wait.
It's a negotiating.
Did they say what the deal was that they came to?
Yeah. So it's the two movies, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and Disney pays 25% and gets 25% back.
That's a pretty good, reasonable compromise, right?
Like, I don't think Sony was wrong to be like,
no,
screw you. Mm-hmm. We're not doing that because it was 5%. They just got an extra 20.
Yeah. As opposed to 45 more.
Yeah. So there's that thing. But I mean, it's also, we don't know how true the information we were getting.
Yeah. We might only get like a small piece of it.
So, but yeah. So Spider-Man's back.
Neat.
Cool.
Wow. Imagine if they didn't do a Spider-Man movie in the Sony Spider-Man universe and they just had all these stupid Spider-Man characters just floating around with no one to tie them all together.
As I said, my understanding of, if you kind of read between the lines of what some of the people who made statements about the deal, Tom Holland Spider-Man is going to jump around in Sony's movies as well.
Ugh.
So he probably will have a cameo in Venom 2. Maybe Morbius. So anyway, Spider-Man is back. I'm pretty excited about it. That means now that there are 8 Marvel projects in 2021.
That's a lot.
4 movies which they've never done before, and 4 TV shows.
Wait, what's the 4 movies? 2021. Doctor Strange,
Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Thor.
Oh man, a busy year.
Right? Seems like it's a little much.
What's up next year?
Black Widow, Eternals, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That I'm excited about.
Actually, this week, General Ross joined Black Widow.
Whoa.
I'm
I thought
pretty
he's
excited.
retired.
The actor?
Yeah.
Nobody says no to Disney.
Fair. Because, man, he looked rough in Civil War.
You should see the
Or not
set
Civil War.
photos of him.
Yeah?
He looks pretty rough.
Yeah.
Like he I think he's only 69. And I was looking at the pictures of
Nice.
him and I'm just like, I hope he's like healthy. Like he looks
He looks
very
way
thin.
older than 69.
Yeah. And he's walking around with a cane on set.
Oh.
And like some people were like, well, maybe they made him look older. You don't add makeup to someone's arms like that. Like you do the face,
Mm-hmm.
not the arms. Cause he had like the, you know, like the
Yeah.
hanging skin. Anyway, so yes, William Hurt, I hope you're in good health.
Red Hulk.
No,
Yeah, he can do it.
no.
it, William.
Red Hulk's such a stupid character.
Yeah.
He's so stupid, Victor.
But he's got a cool haircut in the comics.
And no mustache. What the heck?
Oh, yeah, I guess
eventually they put the mustache on him. But when there was like the whole,
Who is Red Hulk?
yeah, he had no mustache, but General Ross had a mustache. But anyway, the rumor is with the Black Widow movie that because they were done shooting,
Mm-hmm.
the rumor is that he's in the post-credits scene. And people are theorizing that maybe he's recruiting either the other Black Widow or Taskmaster into the Thunderbolts.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Which is kind of cool because then that team was never named after him,
Yeah.
but his nickname is Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
So that'd be like a cool little thing, like what they did with Jarvis and Vision, where it's just like, that was never in the comics, but that's genius.
That
they
makes
did
sense.
Yeah. Like,
I wonder, though, if they do the Thunderbolts, if they go that route, do you think they would recast William? Sir Hurt?
only if he can't physically do it. Like if he actually is sick
Mm-hmm.
or if, you know, he passes away or something before they start filming. I think that's the only way they would replace anyone these days.
Just CGI him.
I don't think Marvel would do that. Like, I feel like fan backlash would be like, don't do that. That's disrespectful. The guy just died.
Did they do that for Leia?
Yeah, but that's Star Wars and they're disrespectful. Like, it's one thing if you already have stuff shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to like make a completely CGI character like Tarkin in Rogue One. It's gross to me.
It's a little.
Like Tarkin, it's a little bit more forgivable because he died like 15 years ago. But
Mhm.
like there, hypothetically, if William Hurt couldn't do it because he passed away, it would be rather soon to when the movie came out. And it's just like, just get someone else to play the character. Like it's not, granted, he was very good in that role, but it's not like some iconic character that
Yeah.
can't be recast. Just get Kevin Costner or something. They look enough alike. They have the same gravitas.
Yeah. Just like he just went through surgery.
But anyway, yeah. Please don't die, William Hurt. We like you. Watch him like he's one of our 6 listeners, and he's like, "I'm not even sick. You
The
jerks.
hell?
I just went vegan. I just lost a lot of weight. Leave me alone." Okay, so that Uncharted movie, Victor,
Yes.
it got a director,
Makes sense.
Travis Knight, who directed Bumblebee.
Oh,
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
that movie had some good heart to it. I'm down with that.
yeah.
Good action, good story, good characters. Sorry, good story for the material that he was given to work with.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the Uncharted movie goes, I like Tom Holland. I like that they're going young Drake instead of just trying to do regular Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Because those games are so cinematic anyway. It'll just feel like a ripoff. So if you're going to use the IP, go in another direction with it.
You think they're doing with that what they did with Tomb Raider, where they're like exploring the like her origin story or his origin story? In that sense, so that worked well for Tomb Raider.
Well, it depends what the whether they're going to try to be in canon or not. Because was it Uncharted 3 where you play as like Drake when he's like 12 or something like that?
I thought that was 4.
Well, whatever, whenever it is, like there's a time in his life where he's young and it's like they've told those stories. So I imagine Tom Holland's going to be somewhere in between that. Obviously, he's not going to play an 11-year-old, although he would knock it out of the park.
Makes sense,
right? Yeah. So it won't be an origin if it's in canon with the games, but they could just do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's a video game movie. I'm sure they'll screw it up.
Yep. Stranger Things 4 was announced, Victor.
Ooh. Any details about it or just
no?
The fact that it was announced?
It was just a release date, or not even a release date. Just they just played the theme song and 4 showed up and vines climbed up it. And that's about it. But of course, that has everyone speculating because like there's stuff in the background and they're like, "Ooh, is that David Harbour's cabin?" And his light was on. Does that mean he's there? Yeah, I've kind of I've lost my interest in Stranger Things. I'll still watch 4, but I'm not that excited for it until I see a trailer for it or something. I'm not like hyped.
I'm really hoping they did do the time jump so that the kids' ages match up.
Oh yeah. You said, you know what? There was something else with it. It said we're not in Derry anymore, or not in Hawkins anymore.
Fucking It Clown shows up. Yeah. So a bunch of balloons.
So we're not in Hawkins anymore. That's what it was. So they're hinting that they're going to leave Hawkins and tell stories outside of, or maybe it'll just be in the upside down.
Because 11 left. She moved with what's his face, Will. Maybe they're just following 11. Oh, no, it takes place in Las Vegas.
Why?
Because it's the opposite of like that little tiny town. How about casinos and like giant shopping centers, the Grand Canyon?
That's in Arizona.
Yeah, same shit.
Okay, Victor, I got a story for you. So do you know the Amber Alerts that we get?
Yes.
Do you get them?
Yep.
Okay, I don't get them.
Wow. No faith in you.
Well, it's not my fault. I think it's my phone provider. That is strange. Because I know other people who have the same provider and they're just, I don't get them either.
Oh, so that's not good.
Anyway, so if you're not familiar, I think it's called an Amber Alert everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So it's for missing kids.
Yeah. So if they suspect that a child has been abducted or is in danger, they send out an alert to your cell phone and it has this really loud, obnoxious siren for good reason.
Yeah.
So you actually look at your phone and it gives a description of the kids, description of the suspect in question, the vehicle they drive, the time it happened, where it took place, and any other information. Like, people complain about it, but people are a bunch of idiots.
Well, Victor, that's what this story is about.
Ooh.
There's a guy in Hamilton who called 911 to complain about the Amber Alert that was issued earlier this week.
I hope he got jail time.
Well, he was charged.
Yes.
And he was arrested, and it looks like he might do some jail time for it.
Oh my goodness.
So he was charged with mischief. And the reason why they went after him was because he was obviously belligerent about it. But then he also said, I'm going to call every time you do an Amber Alert.
Oh, well, then we will charge you and put you in jail every time. That's so stupid. A kid's missing. Like,
yeah.
How inconvenient is it for you to like just look at your phone and keep an eye out?
Well, he's also 70 years old. What is he even doing with a phone?
Yeah.
No, but like, seriously, grow up. You're 70.
Yeah, I don't think he can grow any higher.
At this point, he's growing down.
He's shrinking.
But anyway, screw that guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's annoying. I don't have to deal with it. Switch to my phone provider. You want to deal with it. But yeah, it's annoying, but it could save a kid's life. So
it was 5 kids in question this time.
Yeah. Was it the one in Brampton?
No.
Niagara, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's in Niagara.
Have you ever had to call 911?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you get right through?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I called 911 once and I was put on hold for like 4 minutes.
What?
Yeah. And so the reason why I was out jogging at night, and I saw these guys who were breaking into a car. Like at that point, I wasn't running with a phone, so like I immediately just stopped running and went home and called. And then like by the time they started talking to me, I was like, they're probably gone by now, but like people were stealing a car.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty frustrated. I was just like, thank goodness, like no one was like bleeding out.
Yeah. Man, imagine the other person on the line. Yeah. I got woken up by this Amber Alert you guys are giving out. Something about kids being missing. I'm losing 10 minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a pet peeve of mine right there. After an Amber Alert, 100%, I can't go on Facebook the next day because there's people bitching about it the next, like all across my
just
feed.
Complaining about it?
Yeah.
Speaking of annoying people, Victor, at work, why are people still replying all to like a group message? Just stop it.
Is this for like emails?
Yes. It's so annoying. Like when like one of your bosses sends out like a technical email, like if any of you are having problems with this is how to solve it. Mm-hmm. And then someone replies all just like, yeah, I'm having problems with it. This is my specs or whatever. And you're just like, not everyone needs to know this. Like,
by the way, your computer sucks based off those specs.
And the email service that we use, it's two different buttons. Like I know on some, it's like a drop down menu on your reply, whether you can reply or reply all.
Oh, mine's just a reply all.
Oh, ours is reply or reply all. And reply is first. Oh, it's so annoying. It's just like no one, especially like the ones where they're like company wide. I work at a huge company that has like thousands of people working for it. And then someone sends out a company wide one. And then you get like 3 emails where it's just some older coworker who's just like, oh, so excited about the news. And you're just like, shut up. No one cares. Grace.
You should reply with that.
That's a good way to get talking to from HR.
Grace, why don't you take that joy and shove it right up your... Tell I'm really angry with like people. Just sick of it all.
And just, we're at a point now where that's just should be common knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these people are probably like, how old are we? 30? Probably like 32. You know? They're just old. They don't get how the world works anymore.
Everyone's on Twitch and they're flapperjaps.
What?
All their new technology. Oh, you haven't heard of flapperjaps?
No.
It's all the rage.
Oh, yeah?
It's a half-second video program.
That sounds awful.
The kids love it, Victor.
It's just a screenshot at that point.
With some audio.
A glaring sound that pops for like half a second.
And if you're not on Flapperjap, you should really be on Squidjuju. That is what people say is on fleek.
Oh, that was painful to listen to. Oh, man. All right, Joshua. You got anything else over there?
There's some trailers this week, Victor.
Oh, 6 Underground? Underground 6? Which one was it?
6 Underground.
6 Underground.
All right, let's hear it. I'm kind of getting sick of your Ryan Reynolds love, but
it's
go
Ryan
ahead.
Reynolds!
Get it out.
But he's not playing a goofy character.
I thought that for most of the trailer. And I was like, oh, he's actually kind of playing it straight. Yeah. And then like the last 10 seconds of the trailer is like a bunch of Ryan Reynolds lines. And I was just like, well, couldn't help himself, could he?
Isn't he directing that?
No, Michael Bay is.
Oh, damn. That makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does.
Sorry, maybe not directing. Does he have any part of that? Like producing it? Co-producing it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't get that far. Anyway, so what did you think of it besides Ryan Reynolds? Like, what did you think of the actual trailer?
It looks like a movie I've seen a bunch of times.
Right.
But like, I'm just surprised that like it's Ryan Reynolds, the big name, but then I don't recognize any other actors or actresses. Do you?
I'm really struggling to remember this trailer.
Good. Moving on. What was the other trailer?
No. Let's keep talking about it. But I really can't remember much of it.
There's really honestly not much to say.
What is the plot of the movie?
I don't know. A bunch of people that are dead. They're mercenaries now, so they can't get caught.
Right. Yeah. They're all dead, and then they can do what they want now because they're dead.
Yeah. Again, I'm pretty sure I've seen this script, this plot enough. Oh, you can't hurt us because we're dead. Oh, these guys were supposedly dead, but they're alive now.
But they're just dead on paper, right? This is not a supernatural action movie.
Wait, what?
They're just dead on paper.
Oh.
This is not a supernatural movie, right?
Oh, I don't care about this movie anymore then.
You thought they were zombies?
Ghouls, Josh. Ghouls.
They're not shambling around talking about brains, okay? They're ghouls. Get your undead creatures right. Yeah, I think that says it all. It just looks so generic and
I'm surprised because usually for these kind of movies, they would get a few big names to like sell the movie. But unless Ryan Reynolds is so big now that like, we're just good with him.
It's only on Netflix though, right?
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's not coming to theaters.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Yeah. Clearly, I paid attention to this trailer.
Oh, so all you saw were just, ooh, Ryan Reynolds. And then you just turned off the trailer and were like, I'm going to watch that.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, Victor, the other trailer was Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Is that the full title?
I think you're missing a few dozen words, but
yeah.
Does that look good to you?
Honestly, it looks fine. I think like last week we were kind of harping on it. I don't know why we were surprised. It's a Harley Quinn movie and other characters are there. So like from that regard, I don't love Harley Quinn. She's kind of like Deadpool to me, where just in little bits, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a whole movie of him.
Yeah, but Deadpool has heart, and like at least the movies do. Comics, I can't stand reading the Deadpool comics. But anyway, Harley Quinn is like, the Joker broke up with me. I'm so sad. And I'm like, I don't care. He was a psychopath. Like, you're better off. And plus, he was Jared Leto. So yeah, so I don't care from that regard. And then none of these characters look like the characters they are supposed to be, with the exception of Montoya, because she's just a generic cop.
Yeah.
Why is he playing Black Mask? He's not wearing a black mask.
Maybe they'll paint his face black so he can still emote. Well, I don't see a problem with that. Our prime minister did a bunch.
Everyone seemed okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. What did you think of this trailer, Victor?
I paused it halfway.
Okay.
Because I was like, hey, you know what? I kind of want to drink right now. Went and got my water, grabbed a snack, came back, did some work.
Oh, yeah.
The trailer's still on. Yeah, again, like it looks fun, but like, you know, aside from Harley Quinn, I don't recognize any of the other characters. Not that I don't know wherever the Huntress is in it.
And Black Canary.
Black Canary. There was one other character. There's three other girls, isn't there?
Oh, the short girl. That's Cassandra Cain, who is a Batgirl.
Oh, yeah, I like Cassandra Cain. But like, again, I don't recognize any. I don't know who anyone is. And like the trailer's like, it's just a bunch of quick cuts. So I can't pinpoint who anyone is. And it doesn't introduce any of them in the trailer. So I don't give a shit.
That's fair.
Same with Black Mask. Like, again, just a bunch of shots of them. I don't really see the threat. It's just a Harley Quinn trailer. It's a Harley Quinn trailer.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's like, we've been following this, right? So we know that it's Huntress and Black Canary. Like if I had known nothing about this movie and it's just like, oh, there's a Birds of Prey movie coming out, and clicked on this, I'd be like, oh, it's a Harley Quinn movie, not Birds of Prey movie. Cause I didn't see any of the Birds of Prey.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't know who anyone else is here, but yeah, I get it. That being said, aside from like the choices that they've made as far as like what the characters look like, it looks really visually interesting. It's going to sound so stupid to say, but like there's lots of bright colors and it was real flashy. It's well shot. I don't know. It looked good. As like
their costume choices, like I like the visual direction of it, but like their costume choices, it's the equivalent of Sony's movie just making decisions.
their costume choices are the Madam Web of costume choices. I'm beyond being upset that it's not a Birds of Prey movie. I'm fine that it's a Harley Quinn movie. It looks fine in that regard. So I'm not excited, but mostly because I'm not a huge fan of Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm about as excited for this as I was for X-Men Age of Apocalypse.
Victor, actually, it's just called X-Men Apocalypse.
Same shit. I didn't even see the damn movie.
Oh, Victor, that's all the news this week.
So this week we are taking a bit of a break from movies, diving into another interest of ours with our top 3 comic book choices.
What? We're not talking about our favorite celebrity Twitter accounts?
Oh, shit.
Okay. So yes, Victor, we decided we're going to talk about our 3 favorite comic book storylines.
Storylines just like comics, just like arcs.
Yeah.
Stories.
Yeah. The 3 I chose, I don't know if they're like my top 3 of all time, but they're up there. And it was just more, I tried to pick some variety. So if people wanted to actually read something and not just read the same character over and over again, then they have some variety.
Yeah. I for mine, I had, I not my favorite, but again, I think the ones I enjoyed the most reading and looking at.
So what is your first one, Victor?
My first one is Frank Miller's and David Mazzucchelli. Is that how you say it? Mazzucchelli? I'm probably butchering it. But Batman Year One.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't know, this was written by Frank Miller. I think after he did Dark Knight Returns, the one where he's like Batman's
I don't remember which one came first, but I think
it's that one. Yeah, that's the one where Batman retires and like, they based Batman v Superman off of it and did.
Oh no, sorry. Yes, I know what Dark Knight Returns is. You're right. That is that one. I just don't remember which one came first.
Okay, then it is that one. Because I think I was reading up on it and they were trying to figure out something for like a Batman origin story after they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Superman got his own story, got a new story. Wonder Woman got a new story. The Flash got one. I think Batman was like the last one to get it, but they weren't sure who to get.
Okay.
And after the success of The Dark Knight Returns, they were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Grab Frank Miller. He does dark stuff for The Dark Knight. Yeah, if you don't know the story, it's Batman Year One. It's basically the origin of Batman. Bruce.
It's basically Batman Begins. Like Batman Begins was heavily based off.
Yeah,
of it.
actually, yeah, it's pretty close to it, minus Ra's al Ghul.
Who's the villain in that one? Is there a villain? I can't remember.
Not really. It's the comic's actually more of it's almost like 2 stories. It's Gordon's been transferred to Gotham and Bruce is returning to Gotham.
Right.
So you kind of follow them both. I think Gordon's just like a detective at the time.
Okay.
So you kind of follow him. He gets promoted up to, I think, captain by the end of the book. But you see him deal with like corrupt cops, gangsters, having a newborn child in Gotham when it's still like very rough and corrupt. And then the other side, you see Batman or Bruce Wayne kind of work his way up into getting the Batman identity. So like you see him try to he goes undercover, try to infiltrate gangs and doesn't do a very good job because you get the crap beat out of him quite a bit. But you kind of see their progression towards their the end character that we know today. So it's kind of neat. And the illustrations for it were really well done.
Yeah, I've read that. Don't really remember it, to be honest. I remember liking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you like Frank Miller in general?
I haven't read a lot of his stuff, but the stuff I have read, some of his Daredevil stuff, I remember liking. So
I find he's kind of hit or miss with me. Because as you said, he's really dark, and sometimes it's almost too dark. It's almost unrelenting sometimes.
Yeah,
where sometimes it's nice to pull up a storyline that's wow, this is a really dark chapter in this hero's life. But when he was working on Daredevil, he worked on it for a few years. Each story was just dark. It's just
there's no break in the night.
Yeah, every now and then you need a light story. Can't keep having girlfriends die. It's gonna break a man. But I like Frank Miller. I really like Sin City. I'm actually rereading it right now. He has an interesting voice, and he didn't draw this one, right? It was Dan.
No. Yeah.
What's this? David Mazzucchelli.
Mazzucchelli.
Isaac Kelly. Yeah, I don't really love his what his style of art developed into.
Mhm.
Did you ever read what was the sequel to The Dark Knight Returns? Was it
Dark Knight Returns 2?
Strikes Back or something like that?
No, I haven't read that
what it's
one.
called. His art in that sucked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was awful to look at. But anyway, that's beside the point. Batman Year One.
Yeah, again, like not my favorite comic, but like I really much enjoy. Like I enjoy all of it. Like there's definitely other stories that like I enjoy more, but then there's like parts of those stories where it's like, this is boring. Like let's move on. But like Batman Year One, it's enjoyable all the way through for me.
Mm.
And like, it's just a lot. Like you hear Batman's inner monologue, you hear Gordon's inner monologue, you hear like just the overall narrative, like being narrated to you. So it's like he jumps around quite a bit. Obviously, it's not an uncommon thing in comics, but like it's just the way everything comes together very well. It's a good, solid package. And it's pretty to look at.
Anyway,
anyways, Batman Year One.
Batman Year One.
How about you? What's yours?
My first one is Bone by Jeff Smith.
Oh, I like Bone.
Yeah, so Bone is written and illustrated by Jeff Smith. It's actually self-published by him for the majority of the run. So basically, if you're unfamiliar, it's kind of like a light, cartoony comedy mixed with dark fantasy thriller. So it's kind of like, I'll just go through the plot. So there's three Bones. They're cousins. They come out of Boneville. They're cartoon characters. There's Phony Bone, who's like this greedy, always scheming, trying to make the next buck, and he'll cheat anyone who gets in his way if it means more money in his pocket. And then there's Smiley Bone, who is basically Goofy, from like the Disney cartoons, except for he's kind of like chaotic neutral. Like he could go either way. If someone convinced him, he'd do some evil stuff. And then there's Phone Bone, who is like our everyman main character, and they get kicked out of Boneville, and they're just kind of wandering in the wilderness, and they get lost, and they end up in this different land basically, and it's kind of like a medieval fantasy type realm, and so they meet people there, and it kind of starts off light and fun. It's kind of like Harry Potter, how like it progressively kind of gets darker and more serious as you go, and it kind of has like a Lord of the Rings feel too. Like the Bones are very much like the hobbits who kind of get wrapped up in this epic tale that is way bigger than they should be able to handle, and they end up becoming heroes in their own right.
They're kind of goofy looking characters too, right?
Yeah, they kind of look like Casper, the friendly ghost, but with giant noses.
Mm-hmm. Or like Snoopy without the ears and nose.
Sure.
Kind of. Sure. I feel like people have seen this character before. If you're in the comics, I feel like you've seen him on the shelves.
Or on our poster on a wall or something. Like that. This is a very famous book. It's won like tons of Eisner Awards.
Oh, really?
But anyway, I really like it. Jeff Smith is not only a great writer, but like he's a fantastic illustrator. He's got the version I have. It's all just black and white inked. Mm-hmm. And it is so gorgeous. Like there's every page, there's like at least one panel where you're just mesmerized by it because just his composition is great. Anyway, it's a huge series. I think it's like 55 issues or something like that. It went from like 92 to 2001 or something like that. And he wrote and illustrated all of them. And it's just, it's a nice story. You really like the three Bones and Thorn, who is this girl that Phone Bone meets. Mm-hmm. You just really like all the characters, like even Phony Bone, who is a despicable person. There's even moments in it where you're worried about him and you kind of see his side of things and like you empathize with him. So it's just extremely well written. And as I said, it's kind of like any of those kind of epic stories. It's like, it's kind of like Breaking Bad or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, where it kind of starts out kind of light. And then as you go, it kind of gets darker and kind of gets more serious. And like you start learning more about the lore of the characters and of the valley that they're in. And all of a sudden, like the sweet old lady that you met in the first is actually like a Jedi Knight. And, and characters start dying and stuff like that. And so you really get wrapped up in what's going on. So
Just looking at some of the panels from it on Google. Yeah, they're really pretty.
Right?
Like it's very like traditional comics, but like everything's very well drawn. There's no, some comics, some people take shortcuts with sync because like they're on like a tight deadline.
Yeah.
So they'll like flood a panel like really dark because it's in like the dark woods. So you only see like silhouettes of them. But like he actually draws all the plants on this one at least. Mm-hmm. That's cool. The creatures are really cool looking too.
One of my favorite panels that he's ever done is there's this giant guy named Lucius, and there's just a panel where he's standing in a downpour, and it's just he just uses like the shapes, and it's just I don't know how to describe it visually, but that image has just been burned into my mind. Like it's just such a great looking panel. It's like the type of panel that you look at and be like, I want to draw that.
Sorry, that character was Lucius?
Yeah.
I just looked him up and porn came up.
Oh, you wrote Lucius Bone?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll find it for you before you leave. Well, you people at home, you have to avoid the porn. Make sure your safe search is on. Anyway, that's been one of my favorite books. I don't know if you can see it up there, Victor.
I was looking for it.
On the bookshelf, top right, top shelf.
Oh, that giant next to Harry Potter?
Yeah, the dictionary. Yeah.
Wait, how many is that?
That's all of it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it's a huge collection. But anyway, yeah, that one is genuinely one of my favorite, and I like it because it's not Marvel or DC or superheroes. And so
if you had to like recommend, like, would you just say start from the beginning?
Oh yeah. You definitely want the progression of like just slowly being introduced to the world, and you're introduced to the characters, and as you get more into it, like you get more into it.
Gotcha. So it's not like any of the superheroes where like you just jump in whenever.
No, I would. Yeah, this definitely has like a start and a finish. Mm-hmm. I would say if you're mildly interested, start at the beginning, and like, who cares if you don't like it? Just stop reading it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say you have to read all of it, but I'm betting that if you read a certain amount of it, you'll be like, I kind of dig this. I want to see where this goes.
Gotcha.
Have you've not read it?
No. I think I've skimmed through the book just out of character because like the main character looks so plain and boring compared to like all the other characters in that universe world. Because like there's like I was just looking on Google and there's like all the creatures that they like. The one looks like a Sasquatch. He's like infinitely more detailed than Bone. Same with like the girl that he's with.
Yeah.
Or like the old lady that shows up somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's the kind of the genius of it is like they're cartoon characters. Like those three, the three Bones are cartoon characters, but they're drawn in such a simple style that they're just so much more effective than say like a Mickey Mouse or something like that.
Well, they stand out, right? Like you always know where that character is in that panel because he's so different.
And I think I've seen colored panels, like they're all white. So like I've seen colored panels and they stand out even more.
Yeah.
That was my first recommendation, I guess, or my first favorite.
It's a Bone. So all of them.
All of them. Well, yeah, read the entire Bone.
Number 2 for me is Hawkeye by Matt Fraction.
Matt Fraction's right. Oh, yeah.
David Aja. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so, yeah.
AJA.
My Life is a Weapon, that storyline. Yeah.
Dig it. Same with Year One. It's just overall very enjoyable read. It follows Hawkeye and it's kind of like his personal life outside of the Avengers. So you see him hunting down mobsters, interacting with his apprentice, his young apprentice, or his
protege.
Is he protege?
His ward? No, because she's a girl.
Ward. Yeah, like you see him interacting with like what's her name?
Kate Bishop.
Oh man, I really hope they do Kate Bishop for the TV show.
We've talked about it. Haley Steinfeld is going to play her.
No, but I hope like they do like something like this where she's already kind of being trained by him and like
okay, like not like they meet up. It's just like she's already involved.
Yeah, because I'm just picturing like a TV show. I don't want to see the introduction. I want to jump into it. I want to see their adventures together. I think that would be cool. You can like flash back to when they first met.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I'd start it with them already together, and then maybe like episode 3 show how they met.
Yeah, because I reread the first 2 books this week. I forgot like how much I enjoyed those 2 together, and like they work so well together. I don't care to see them learn how to work together. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, the story I read was like the Russian mob,
the bros.
Yeah, they target the apartment building that Hawkeye lives in. It develops a lot of the characters in this apartment building. So like you actually care about the characters that live in this building. Mm-hmm. So Hawkeye's not a superhero in this. He gets his ass beat quite a bit. He's hurt for most of it.
He's constantly covered in bandages.
Yeah. And it's very visually interesting too, because the way David Aja drew this, it's almost got like a technical illustration aspect to it. So like
very flat with its colors.
And like, well, there's a panel with like it kind of shows the layout of a room, and it's almost like a top down view. It's almost like a floor plan. And they're like the comics happening within that. It's very unconventional how they've drawn this. And I think that's part of the charm for me.
It's one of those comics that's kind of off kilter a little bit, and it's just doing its own thing. Mm-hmm. Look, isn't there an issue where it's entirely from the perspective of the dog, and you can't understand what's going on unless it's like a keyword that the dog already knows, like food or outside or something like that?
Yeah, it's very special and unique compared to like many other comics. Cause like I can't think of another comic that does stuff this interesting. That's like a mainstream comic that's published by Marvel or DC or whatever else. So, and like they have the writing on it is really funny. Like there's a lot of like ongoing jokes, like the Russian mob, like their go-to word is bro. And Hawkeye has like, he's got some funny lines too, but like they're reoccurring jokes. Like I'm butchering it, but like as you read it, you'll see.
And it flirts with Marvel continuity. Like it's mainly him and Kate Bishop, but occasionally other characters show up, mostly Hawkeye's old flames, which is the majority of the female Avengers. But and it's kind of tongue in cheek a little bit to Marvel continuity, like just the fact that he has like an Avengers card, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe the humor. You're right. It's when dry.
You know when they have like in movies they have like just a line that they throw out every so often, and like you kind of catch on that it's like, oh, that's the line from earlier. Oh, it's an ongoing joke. That's kind of what they do here, because like every character kind of has their own. Every group of characters have their own. Hawkeye has one. Kate Bishop kind of has one. The Russian mob have them, and like they kind of interchange here and there. So it's just really well written, from like a comedic standpoint too. So. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about this.
It's a really good run, and I think it won some awards when it came out. But
I'm hoping that like they use a lot of they take a lot of inspiration from this run, because it's the kind of Hawkeye that I would want to watch. I don't want to see like an action hero Hawkeye that does. It's almost like invincible, you know?
Yeah, like play up the everyman quality of Hawkeye. Play up the fact that he really has no business being an Avenger, and he just is a guy with a high skill set.
Just a good shot.
Yeah, and Jeremy Renner can play that.
Yeah,
so do it. I don't want to see him all dark and brooding for the entire show.
That's kind of why I'm like, because I read that before Age of Ultron came out. So when he found out that he had a family, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, he's never going to live in an apartment building by himself.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could be like, oh, I'm on a job. So.
Or they do it during his Ronin years.
Oh, but then that's dark and he's grumpy and gross.
He's like, don't give me hope. I'd rather just stand in the rain.
But I got this cool tattoo.
You go get your hammer and you go ask him. Sorry, I really like that one.
Yeah, that's my number 2 suggestion. Hawkeye
by Matt Fraction. My Life is a Weapon. I think that's the 6 issue, 12 issue stint.
I got the compilation, so but yeah, the 6 sounds right.
My next one is Batman: The Long Halloween.
Oh,
yeah. So this is written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by, I want to say Tim Sale. I feel like I've heard it pronounced Tim Saleh. I'm really sorry.
Well, those are definitely wrong.
I'm really sorry. Especially, it's embarrassing because he is my favorite comic book artist. I don't know how to say his last name. And it's like a 4-letter word. Anyway, Long Halloween. So basically, it's a Batman story, obviously. And it just takes place over a year. And there's a new killer on the loose. And they're calling him Holiday because he always kills on a holiday, on a major holiday. And so he's going around killing people that are affiliated with the mob. Mm-hmm. And so it starts off small, and he kind of each holiday he kills more. And basically it's a 12-issue run. It was released over a year, and it's just Batman trying to figure out who Holiday is. It's also tied into Harvey Dent's origin as the Two-Face. Every few I think it's every issue, another one of Batman's Rogues Gallery shows up. So I think it's Christmas time. Joker shows up. Catwoman shows up on Valentine's Day.
Makes sense. Poison
Ivy's, I think, is for St. Patrick's Day, maybe, or something like that. But anyway, each holiday, they're trying to figure out who is the killer. And every time it's just, they find a bunch of bodies, and then a single gun, and then a little like statue that represents the holiday. And it's kind of hard to explain without getting too much into the plot. A lot of what the Dark Knight was based off of this. Mostly just like the Harvey Dent stuff and like them trying to take down the mob, like that kind of aspect of it. And then Holiday kind of comes in and starts killing everybody. And there's like, how are we supposed to arrest all these people if he's just killing everyone? Like he's killing our snitches and our witnesses, and this guy just slowly is making his way up. I think it's the Falcone mob, and then Baroni family is a part of it as well. But anyway, Tim Sale is like my favorite artist. He just has a very unique style. I believe he paints with watercolor. Might be gouache. I can't remember. He uses shadow really well. He uses color really well. He just kind of has really interesting dynamic composition, and he just has a style unique to his own. If you haven't seen any comics with him, if you've seen the show Heroes, there's that guy who would paint the future. Tim Sale painted all the paintings for that show.
Okay. I'm just looking at some of his stuff out. It looks familiar. Like it reminds me of like Spawn a little bit. Just the color choices and just the way.
Color choices. Yeah. Because Todd McFarlane did Spawn. He tends to do a lot more detail than Tim Sale does. But like Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, they've done, they did all like the Daredevil yellow and the Hulk gray and Captain America white or whatever. And they did all of those ones together. So if you've seen any of those, he's done it. But Batman Long Halloween, probably hands down my favorite Batman comic. I don't really want to get into the plot too much because like the mystery is what's great about it as well. It's a detective story, which I love. It's not Joker shows up with, a gas bomb and Batman has to punch his way through it. Like it's a genuine murder investigation, and so like
shows off his like detective skills more so than most comics would.
Yeah. And you genuinely don't know who it is until you know. Like there's lots of red herrings and very convincing red herrings. And
I don't think I've actually read that.
Oh, okay.
I may have read like a few issues. It's like, oh,
we'll borrow it.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. I recommend it. If you haven't read it, seek it out. It's also a good jumping off point for Batman.
Yeah. It's probably like a good demonstration of, or a good sampling of what Batman is as a character.
Well, yeah. And I mean, you get most of his rogues gallery. You get the origin of Harvey Dent. You get a cool mystery. You also get introduced to like crime families and stuff like that. And just like the other aspect of Batman, other than just punching bad guys in their necks, he's like also finding ways to help the police take down criminals. And it's really well written. I like it.
I take it.
Yeah. That was my second one.
Batman, Long Halloween.
Long Halloween.
I mean, over a course of a year, it's
Well, because it starts on Halloween. That's why they call it the long Halloween.
Long Halloween.
I don't get the joke.
The long haul. Shut up.
It's a long haul. Oh, I thought you were talking about a hallway, and I was like, that's just a word that sounds like Halloween.
Yes.
Victor, what's your last favorite comic book storyline?
My last one is actually not a comic book. It's a webcomic.
Why you always break the rules? You insist on going your own way. Okay, what is it?
It's a webcomic series. That's not really a series. She's an illustrator, Emily Carroll. She illustrates a few like graphic novels, but like the ones that she has on her website, they're very like they're fairly short. I'd say you probably get through most of them in like 5 minutes.
How many panels are they? Is it just like a page?
It's like multiple pages. Some are like, well, the format is kind of interesting too, because like you click on a comic on her page and like it brings you to like a new page on the website, and like some of it is just like a typical like 8-panel thing. But then there's some panels that are like interactive, so you can like click on it, or like as you scroll through it, it like most of it's like horror stuff. So like you might, as you're scrolling down, you might see like a person turn into like a skeleton, like some kind of creature. But then as you scroll past it, it turns back to a person. It's just like really interesting stuff like that. I found her back when I was in illustration, like 2012, I want to say. And she only had like 3 comics, but like she's grown a bunch. Yeah, like her stories are really interesting. They're almost like fairy tales.
Are they like one-offs, or is there like a
no? They're all one-offs.
Going? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, they're best way I can describe them is like they remind me of fairy tales, but they're not like the happy ending. Like they're creepy.
Oh, so like grim fairy tales.
Yeah, and they're very. I don't know. I like the stories, and I really enjoy them. And that's the one thing about like those comics is that like because they're one-offs, you don't have to deal with a lot of like lingering crap. It's just to the point.
But is it like the same characters each time? No. So, okay. Does she ever return to characters, or it's all just...
No, it's
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Emily Carroll? RROLL?
Yes. Also, she's Canadian. She lives in London, Ontario.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm. I've also been there. Not a great town.
Suck it, London. Serial killer capital of Ontario.
Wait, what?
London is, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have one?
No, more than one.
2.
Maybe. All right, Victor, my last one is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about it a few times on the show.
Inkling that was going to be one of them.
Yeah. So this one, I'll be brief, I guess. This is written by Jim Shooter and illustrated by Mike Zeck and Bob Layton. Basically, it was Marvel's first huge crossover. It was there was crossovers at that time, like there was Marvel team ups and stuff like that. Maybe one character would appear in someone else's book, but this is the first time they did like a full cross company crossover. And the reason why they did it was because it came out in 84, I think. And this was at the time when like Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe, and they were all getting toy lines and getting like TV shows based off of it and comics based off of it. And then a toy company went to DC. They said, hey, we want to make some DC superhero toys. And so they made the Super Friends, and they did that toy line. And so Marvel was like, man, we need to get on this toy business. People are making lots of money. And so they hooked up with, I think, Mattel, and they were going to make a toy line based off of Marvel superheroes. And Mattel wanted a crossover storyline to go along with it. So as the kids were reading, they'd be like, oh, did you see Spider-Man in that issue? I want a toy of him. And so because they're a toy company, they have all these like caveats that they have like, well, we've pulled our demographics, and words that are really clicking with them are secret and war. And
wait, really? That's how they
where
got
the name came from. Yeah. And like it would be other stuff like you have to have bases and you have to have vehicles so that we can make larger toys that come at a higher price tag. Dr. Doom is it looks too medieval, make it more robotic. You have to have the Human Torch in it. You have to like, there was just all of these caveats that, because Jim Shooter was the editor in chief at Marvel at the time. And so he's quoted as saying like, there were so many demands that they had. It really could only be me who could write it, because I was the only one who knew all the stuff they wanted.
Oh, I see.
And so what happened was it's 12
himself
issues.
on the back.
What's that?
Not just him patting himself on the back.
I don't know. Maybe. So it's a 12 issue run. It took the Avengers, it took Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and a handful of supervillains. And basically the plot is this cosmic being, the Beyonder, he makes a planet called Battle World, where he just takes chunks of different planets, kind of like Ratchet and Clank, and just pushes them all together. And then he takes all the Marvel superheroes and villains and brings them to the planet. And he says, hey, kill your enemies. And if you do, I'll give you anything you want.
Oh, that's a good price.
And there's not much of a plot. Like it's just 12 issues of like them fighting each other. And then one team retreats and then they go hang out at a base for a little while and then they attack each other again. And there's all sorts of like little subplots here and there. Like at one point, Dr. Doom steals the Beyonder's cosmic powers and becomes a god. And the Thing from the Fantastic Four, he ends up realizing he can change at will back and forth out of the rock form back to human form. There's all sorts of stuff.
Isn't
like
this
that.
Also where they got the Venom symbiote for Spider-Man?
Yeah, that was the thing, was like they had to have some costume changes for some of the characters. So Spider-Man got his. Oh, it's where they introduced the second Spider-Woman who had the same black and white outfit. I think Julia Carpenter was the second one.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
It was insanely popular. They didn't sell many toys, but the comics went like crazy. And since then, like there's been almost a huge crossover every couple of years, and now it's gotten to the point where it's every year at Marvel, where it's cross company, everybody's involved with it, and it started with Secret Wars. And so as far as like plot and stuff like that, it's not all that interesting. The art is okay. It's adequate. Like for its time, it's okay.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's my favorite was because it's the comic that got me back into comics.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I went away to college, it was like suddenly I was allowed to spend money on stuff, and I was just like, I can just buy stuff, and I was just like, I like comics. I'll buy this one. It has like everybody on the cover, and so I bought it and I read it, and I was just like, and then from then I was like hooked, and I started buying comics again. And
good thing you didn't live above a comic book store at one point.
Oh man.
You remember that's where we spent more of our time after Blockbuster closed?
Yeah.
Well,
that,
maybe not as much time in there.
There was that bar, Gino's Pizza, Blockbuster, and Coliseum Comics.
No.
Right? Conspiracy Comics?
It was a Conspiracy Comics at one point, but it was something else before that. Or
what
after
is it
that.
Now? Is it Coliseum? I think it's Coliseum.
I remember that. Whatever. Conspiracy Comics.
It's still there.
Is it?
Yeah. He didn't really sell single issues though. It was mostly just
compilations and art books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, not that I ever bought single issues. Trade paperback, baby. So anyway, that was probably my favorite. Again, it's not like the greatest storyline ever, but it just kind of it has a personal
spot in your heart.
Spot in my heart, I guess. Yeah. It's a pivotal point in Marvel's history. If you're at all interested in comics and especially superhero comics, then that's a good one to read. It was a good learning point for me too, because like I knew some characters, and so it was at a point too where some of the legacy characters had taken over. So like Captain Marvel was there, but it was Monica Rambeau, and Iron Man was there, but it was Rhodey in the suit.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been going for a little long.
Little way bit.
Yeah. Just wrap it up there, Victor. So let's just quickly recap. Yeah. So my favorites were Bone, Batman: The Long Halloween, and Marvel Superhero Secret Wars.
And mine were Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon, Batman Year One, and Emily Carroll. But yeah, let us know your comic book suggestions or graphic novel suggestions if you have any. Always happy to dive into new books. And yeah, if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week.
We're probably going to do Joker.
Yes. I forgot about that. But yes, anyways, Joker next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.